So, oh my, an accident already. I have to go to Home Depot, and I figured, excuse me, I take you guys along with me and discuss where my Spanish is going. Look at that. He just came out of anywhere. So first of all, where that motorcycle came from, that's a footpath and a bike path. So you have to be so attentive when you're driving here in Mexico. He just came out of nowhere. Anyway, excuse me. I've been in the sun all morning working on trying to get my pool together myself because I'm sick and tired of depending on people. Anyway, so I figured I'd take you with me as I drive to... Oh, come on, dude. You see the car was parked there. As I drive to Home Depot, I do not have road rage. I just cannot stand poor driving. I've never been in a vehicle accident as a police officer. So I really can't stand poor driving. Anyway, so I wanted to talk about... Thank you. I wanted to talk about how my Spanish is going. So I have been in class since October of last year. I don't know the exact date. I want to maybe say October, the first week of October. I'm going to have to admit the first group of classes, because thus so far I've taken 2 groups of classes. My first group of classes, it was practically every day for 3 hours a day, and for some reason I couldn't retain anything, and I think that went on for like excuse me, 2 months. No, I've taken 3 groups of classes. I think that went on for 2 months, and it cost probably around $700 at the time. But it was every day I would take classes. It was very intense. It was very overwhelming for me. And I don't think I retained much for the classes. And they were one-on-one classes. And the first instructor was amazing. She was helping me with trying to remember words, retain words, giving me definitions of what words mean. I guess that was the beginning of it. She also was giving me information about the days of the month, numbers, the conjugations, first, third. Look at this. You see that? First, third, persons, pronouns, and things like that. And it was amazing. But towards the end of the class, now I'm already frustrated. Towards the end of the class, I had to share classes with a new student who was only there for 3 weeks, 2 or 3 weeks, and he was trying to do flash classes because he was traveling all over South America, and he just wanted to learn Spanish as quickly as possible. And because he was trying to learn Spanish as quickly as possible, I got backtracked. So it was kind of like we had to start all over, or we had to slow down. And again, it was already difficult for me to maintain what I was learning. And I don't know why. I think I have ADHD. Yes, I'm self-diagnosing myself, but I know I have ADHD. I've known I've had it since I was a little kid because I couldn't sit still. My mom has always known that was something wrong with her girls because we could never sit still, so she always had to occupy her time. So I think it has something to do with the ADHD. Maybe there's not enough dopamine when I'm learning something, so I just don't focus enough, and that'll come in to play later on during this conversation with you guys. Anyway, so he was kind of slowing down the class. So what they had to do, unfortunately, was they had to split the class up. So there was another instructor there. So because I was familiar with some words, more words than he was, I got placed with another instructor who, she's an amazing instructor. She was an amazing instructor, by the way. I want to put this gently because I don't want her to think, if she's watching this, I don't want her to think that she's a terrible instructor. She was amazing, and she was very patient with me. I think what it was for me is that her main language was Spanish. So when she would communicate to me, it was mainly in Spanish, not in English. So my brain was in, am I going the right? Nope, I'm not going the right way. Sorry. My brain was in overdrive, trying to understand what she was saying to me in Spanish, translated in English, and then translated back into Spanish to learn what I was learning. So again, that slowed me down even more. So the dopamine wasn't kicking in because I'm trying to figure out how to do things. That's just how I learn. So the first group of classes, they went okay. I didn't use it. I didn't go out and go socialize and using it because I was not confident in the information that I was retaining. So I took another group of classes. This I definitely remember. It was, hold on, 250 for 30 hours of classes, and we slowed it down to 3 classes a week, 1 hour a week. So would it be 10-week classes? That helped a lot more. I was still with the instructor before. I started picking up some words and I was maintaining those words. However, I still didn't have the confidence. Wasn't that a crazy circle? It's just remarkable how there's not that many accidents there. But I still didn't have the confidence to have a conversation with anybody after my second group of classes. After I completed that, I completed the A1 part of Spanish. I really did not have any confidence after completing A1 part of Spanish. But once you complete A1, then you start going into A2, which is going into past tense for the verbs. And let me just say that I'm great at memorizing things, but I'm not great at utilizing what I memorize, if that makes any sense. So a lot of the words, oh, look how cute. No gracias. No gracias. They're beautiful. No thank you. No gracias. No gracias. Adios. Okay. No gracias, señor. No gracias. So I could memorize them, but I wouldn't be able to utilize the words. Like I want to say over 200 flashcards of words, but I just couldn't, for some reason, for some god awful reason, couldn't congregate them and utilize these words. So I'm in A2. So now A2 requires me to go over the past tense of all of the verbs, and also I think we were on command verbs, imperfect commands. What else were we doing? And I'm trying to think what else. I can't recall because I'm driving and I'm scanning the scene. But again, still not retaining. So I took time off and I had went to the States, and I came back. What I tell my instructor sometimes is, what I've noticed is when I'm studying Spanish and I take a break, all of a sudden things come to me easier when I start classes back up. Don't know why. I have no clue. But that's the way it is. And I know I need to continue with my classes. So I took a break the first time and I go back for A2. And it wasn't until A2 that things started clicking for me. And it made more sense. And it made more sense. This is when it made more sense, when I started reading sentences. It didn't make any sense to me when I would hear it. My issue then became, I can't hear the words, if that makes sense. So escuchar means to hear, but now that I hear the word escuchar, now my brain has to translate the words, like really make up that word, that palabra in my brain, for me to know what that word means. Like, I know what it means. If I see it, I know what it means. But now to process it, to hear it, I don't know what it means. It's the weirdest thing when it comes to, come on, go, go, go. There's nothing. Oh, you son of a bitch. I'm sorry. I am so sorry, people. What was I saying? So yeah, so now it's getting to the point where now I have to translate the words that I hear in my brain, to see them in my brain, to make sure that's the word that they're saying. But then I have to also construct it into a whole phrase, a whole sentence. And that is very frustrating to me. Again, once I read it, I didn't realize it was that close. Once I read it, I'm fine. But to hear it, it's difficult. And that's where I am now. So I'm still having issues with having a conversation with someone. Again, it's not because, let's see, I think I'm going to go this way. It's not because I don't know the words. I don't have the confidence in my brain. I don't trust my brain to translate the words fast enough and quick enough from once I hear it to when I can just transfer the words. Does that make sense? Yeah. So I gotta decode what the word is in Spanish in my brain, put it into English, and then respond from English to Spanish. That's difficult for me, and it takes some time. So when I'm trying to have a conversation with somebody, I hesitate a lot. So therefore, I don't trust myself in the process of speaking to someone in Spanish. So that's where I am right now. But I'm saying all of this to say, can I go this way? I think I can go this way. No, I don't think I can go this way. I think I have to go this way. Hold on. Stand by, peoples. I think I can go this way. Trying to go to this Home Depot. Okay, yeah. All right. And I say all of this to say that learning Spanish is greatly, or learning any language is greatly a process. It's going to be a little bit at a time. You're going to find out what your flaws are and find out what your weaknesses are, but you're going to also have strengths. And what I think my weakness is, and to get back to the hearing part, is My weakness is I do not listen attentively. I've never listened attentively. When I have a conversation with someone, I pick up the little bits. In English, I pick up the little bit of information that I need to process, and 95% of the time I get the information right with the little bit of information that I'm processing. However, when it comes to Spanish, I literally have to listen very intently, and it stresses me out because not only do I have to listen intentionally, let me switch, but I also have to process, and it's very stressful for me. So that's where I am when it comes to having a conversation with someone. So I need to start having grace for myself, but it's been a year. I'm still learning. I'm still trying. And I say all of this to say, so we just drove from my house, well, close to my house, to Home Depot. I did not use GPS because slowly but surely I was learning the way of the land. Slowly but surely I'm learning how to speak Spanish and have conversation in Spanish. It's a process. I try to do that visually and talk to you at the same time, but it's a process. It's not going to happen overnight, but as long as you stick to it, you will prevail. And I'm hoping, yes, it's been a year, but I'm hoping by this time next year my Spanish will be more fluid, and I will be able to trust myself in having conversations with people. So I say all of this to say, have grace with yourself, take it day by day, and it's going to be okay. So JoJo is out. Deuces.